Welcome back. Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. I am your host, Travis Reed. Today I got a special guest here on the Believe Network. Shout out to Believe. Somebody I've been knowing for a really, really long time. Somebody I've been trying to get on the show for a minute. Somebody who's done a lot of different stuff. For you ladies, he was in the Soldier video with Beyonce and them, you know what I'm saying? If y'all want to see the video, he's actually in there chilling, dancing next to Ice Cube. Hilarious, you know what I'm saying?
Going to W, it wasn't dancing.
But no, overall, I've been knowing him, like I said, for a long time. You know, great hooper, great person. My boy Chris Young. Say what's up, Chris.
What's up, everybody? Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's cool, Chris, man. Well, let's get right into it. All right. How did your basketball journey start?
Jeez. Well, it wasn't like I'll say this. It wasn't like I was playing when I was 5 years old and ended up being some kind of phenom and then just take it from there. I actually didn't like basketball growing up. My brother was really good and my cousins could play, so I just was more like a football guy, even though I was small. I preferred to play football. I didn't really get into basketball till I played my first game in the 5th grade. It was only one time, and then I played on the Audubon 7th grade team, and that's probably like my, really first full season of organized basketball. I played a little bit at Rancho the summer before that, but I really played like a full season with Audubon. I Rancho too, but Audubon is where I really think I came into my own as far as like really falling in love with the game. So started like when I was in the 7th grade at Audubon, kind of late, especially considering nowadays, but yeah, it wasn't until like 88, 89 that I fell in love with basketball.
Well, that's not, that's not bad, man. Like I said, I think, everybody don't start like, when they 4 or 5. Some people start a little bit later, but like you develop the love at any time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, can't do anything about it now, but typically, if I could do it all over, or when I finally do have kids, I'm definitely gonna have my kids play basketball at an early age, just to see if they like it. I'm not gonna force them to play it, but we're at least gonna explore it and see if we can pick up the talent. Because even starting around 12, 13 years old, I missed a few years, and it took a while for me to catch up to all you guys. So, I definitely would have started a little bit sooner.
Nah. Like I said, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, I played ball early because I was just tall. And Pops was like, I'm going to just put you in every sport and see what sticks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You knew what he was doing.
So obviously you were interested in football growing up besides basketball. Did you do AAU growing up?
So, two things I want to piggyback off what you said, because I've been talking a lot about fathers and their kids' lives. So my pops died when I was 11, and my brother moved to live with his father 2 months later. So just me, my mom, my little sister growing up. So I really didn't have that male role model that put me in a position to play sports. Everything I did was like me begging my mom to go play here, and her, taking off work to go do it. So you having a pops doesn't surprise me that he made sure that you found a love at something early on, and clearly it worked out for you. To the AAU question, back then it wasn't no real AAU basketball like that. Like, you had like K-Swiss, Slam and Jam, ARC, and of course K&E Bulls. But my 8th grade basketball team, we were called CPYS, and it was by my boy's father, Mr. Herman Russell, and we were funded through his grocery store, or like not grocery, well, I guess it's a grocery store, like a little mom and pop store. So we did play a lot of AU stuff, but mostly we wouldn't have been considered AU. We'd have been considered an independent program today, with Adidas, Under Armour, Nike. We definitely would have been on one of those circuits, but we used to beat all their asses. And that was my claim to fame, was like we were really, really good. And we were like no shoe sponsor. All the money came from Mr. Russell. So that was a special time, but it wasn't 25 AAU programs. No way. You know, only the top guys, you, Tremaine, Stace Bozeman, like those guys are the only ones that Shake Hyde, none of those guys that I remember really playing AAU basketball, Danny and, you know, all that J Hart traveling and all. No, sir.
No.
Not in the early 90s and not for average kids. You had to be elite for that. I definitely wasn't elite. So, but I did go to Vegas. That was fun. That was like the only trip I ever went to with a basketball team growing up was Vegas. So,
No, I got you. Trust me, man. Like Vegas was the trip, and like you said, ARC, K-Swish, Slammer Jam was probably the top 3, like you said, as far as like having a bunch of you know, great athletes all on one team.
right.
I think, you know,
Resources.
yeah, now I want to say it's a little bit more diluted when it comes to
Not a little bit.
Yeah, a lot diluted. I was trying to be nice when it comes to AAU because I felt like back then, you know, like if you hooped in that, if you hooped on those whatever couple teams, you know, you really had to be hooping. Now it's like this guy can do it, but this guy can do it. This, you know, so it's like you said, it's a lot diluted, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, it's just different. Like it ain't how it was, you know, like when we was growing up.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, the fortunate thing about being myself or being older now and still being relevant in the game is I know it from the 90s to 2022. So it's definitely diluted. It's definitely not the same, but nothing stays the same. And I'm not mad at where it's going. It just has its ups and downs like anything else. When we were growing up, you know, even the guys that ran teams outside of the pumps, wasn't nobody making no money with this basketball thing like that. Tiny didn't make no money. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like people that were really ingrained in it. But now you can make money. So now it's a money making. So now your trainer can buy a house off you playing. So don't expect your trainer to tell you you're not good because you're gonna need that consistent paycheck. You know, people are raising families. It's just it's a money game now. So and I could talk about this for hours because this is really something close to my heart. But no, man, it has its advantages as well because more kids are getting seen. You know, we are telling kids that aren't elite that they are elite at a young age, and it's really messing them up. But some kids that probably wouldn't have gotten identified in our era because it just wasn't that much opportunity are starting to sneak in there and get Division I scholarships and making money playing basketball. So it's all about your perspective and who you're around in the game. But overall, it's pretty interesting. I say that much. That'd be cool.
No, I hear you on that. I hear you on that, Chris, man. That's real talk. And like you said, I think it is more of a money scheme now than it was then. Like then it was more, like you said, like maybe Pat Barry was getting money.
Pat, yeah.
You know, Pat or maybe Rich Goldberg or whatever. Like you said, Tiny wasn't making money. Right. Tiny was getting to doing it for the love of the kids. And
I tell people all the time. Tiny, if Candy was now and Tiny would be paid. Tiny had all the top athletes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He would be Candy Bulls would be EYBL champions 3 or 4 times over, or whatever shoe company he would decide to partner up with. He would have made a lot of money. But you know, that's just how times go. But yeah, man, it's definitely totally different now.
No, it's
but you would have been, but you would have played on an elite team either way it goes. So that's the luxury of being you. So,
well, like I said, I wasn't always like I didn't get on an elite team till 7th grade.
And what? So 4th to 7th grade, you went on an elite team. That's an elite team. to finish playing. What are you talking about? I didn't get on an elite team. Well, I was trying to make the roster in the 7th grade. It's crazy at Rancho.
Well, I mean, I know I was with my dad. I was with the Boys and Girls Club team, you know, for like all the way up to 7th grade. And then we played ARC, got blown out. and the coach liked me, you know, and so that's what I switched. Well, I was like, I'm tired of getting blown out. So I went with Jason and Jaron Collins, and that's how I got on the RFC.
You go.
You know
And back then, playing for the Boys and Girls Club in YMCA wasn't a bad thing. Now it's some of the worst basketball you ever want to see in your life. It's so bad.
You know, I got you, bro. I got you. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I was gonna say after, you know, obviously you got that late start. What high school did you go to?
So this is funny because I don't know if you know this much about me, but no. So I went to my dream high school. I went to Crenshaw.
Oh, I remember that.
In '92. Yeah, okay. So I started Crenshaw in '91. The summer that Boys in the Hood came out, so school was cracking all day long. Everything was overcrowded. The high school team was and true story. Like all my friends from middle school, because I was 5'8" going to high school, and all my friends who were better than me in middle school went and played. Back then they had C's, D's, and C's.
Yeah. I remember,
and they were like, "You need to." They were, "Oh yeah, you're '90s kids," so they were like, "Yeah, you need to come play B's and C's with us." And I was like, "No," because first of all, B's and C's were for ninth graders, and I was like, "No, we're in 10th grade. I'm not playing B's and C's." And I remember my best friend was like, "You ain't gonna make the team," and I was like, "I don't care, but I'm going to try out." So, word to God, I was the last person cut on the JV team. I was the last person, and I remember my friends was like, first of all, they was hating because I lasted to, I was getting the meals, I was hanging out with the team, you know, I was, you know, it just, you know, things happen. I mean, back then you had to look on that list in front of everybody and you don't see your name and you just be like, damn. So, and then coach was like, just play B's and C's. And I don't remember if it was West. I think one of the coaches, like, just throw Ducky, probably was like, just play B's and C's and you probably get moved up. And I was like, nope. And so I just stopped fucking. I just stopped being around. I stopped really going to class. I just kind of gave up, just being a kid. And I remember one day I was in the hallway, and like 4 varsity players ran up on me, like, how you ineligible right now? Yada yada yada. If you had your grades together, you'd be on the JV team tomorrow because somebody quit or somebody got kicked off, and coach is gonna put you on the team. And I was like, fuck. Like I just was like, damn. It was like on some real movie, 80s movie, like these, and they probably didn't, but it felt like they rolled up on me on their varsity Letterman jackets and Jerry curls, because people still had curls back then. And it's just like, dude, what are you doing? And I was like, damn. And then they ended up going to, they lost in the city championship that year, but they graduated all seniors. So the only person that came back was Leon. Leon was the only varsity person coming back. And then Tyson, you remember Leon, of course you do.
Yeah,
and,
Leon,
Tyson Gill, who was and Tyson Gill, who was my best friend. So it was basically only Tyson and Leon was coming back. And I remember like, Tyson and Leon. We're playing varsity next year. Yeah. I'm playing varsity next year. So the whole summer, I'm up at Crenshaw early, helping coach set the gym. Because remember, he's at a Tuesday night league. So I'm up there with coach playing a Tuesday night league. I'm multiple games. I wasn't ready to play no varsity, but there wasn't nobody else on the. I mean, literally, it was only one spot really that was coming back. Man, Enrico will tell you to this day, Tremaine will tell you, when we get to that tryout, the tryouts for my junior year in '92, it was like 300 people in that damn gym. It was so packed. Tiny Ed came on the staff, so you know he brought all his people, his kids transferring from everywhere. And I remember we was in Tiny asked before practice. He's like, "So who trying to play varsity?" And like everybody everybody said, "Who trying to play JV?" And I was like, everybody hand rose and said varsity. He said, "Who trying to play JV?" I rose my hand up like, shit, I ain't trying to play varsity now. I just want to make this JV squad. Long story short, I mean, Tremaine wasn't there yet. I remember one day at practice, everybody was like, this kid named Tremaine, folks checking in. Tremaine actually played on my AU quote unquote team. He was a great age level above me. So I knew he was when he walked in the gym. He just came in, didn't even stretch, and 3-man weave, and just started dunking everything. And everybody was like, oh shit. We about to be nice. So long story short, I made the JV team. I'm practicing, but this is when Tiny was just a mean person at the time, and Tiny didn't get along with my AU coach because of my boys. my boys played for K&E, but then his father started the AU program, and then him and his Tiny fell out, and that's who I ended up playing AU basketball with. It's called TP West, and I'm just projecting this now, but that's what the beef felt like. So Tiny was just horrible to me and my boy Herman. My boy Herman said F this and transferred to LA. And I was like, no, dude, I've been wanting to play for Crenshaw since the 80s. I said, I'm making this team, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
One day at practice, Tiny slammed me to the ground, like, you ain't playing defense right. And I was like, if you know me, you know that's the one thing I can really do. And I'm just like, dude, it's just too much. So then like the next few practices, he like kicked me out the practice, and I'll never forget. And I don't know, I'm not talking too much, but I remember never forget, he kicked me out of practice, and I went inside the little bitty locker room, and we got my shit together, and I came out, but I had to catch the late bus, so I sat on the varsity side and was trying to hide the whole time. Me and this dude named Deion Champion. Deion ended up transferring to Fremont, and Deion got kicked out that day too. So I remember Tiny was like, "Didn't I tell you to get the fuck out the gym?" And I was like, he said, I rolled my eyes, and now I look back when I was raised by a woman, so I'm sure I did roll my eyes. So he's like, "Who the fuck you rolling your eyes at? Get the fuck out the gym and don't come back." And like, for real. And I was just like, oh. So then I ended up walking out, wait outside for the late bus. No, then I was outside. And then I think after practice, somehow me and Coach West ended up talking. Coach West was like, don't worry about it. Just have your mother come to school tomorrow and we'll sit down and talk about it. So fast forward to the next day at school. Back then, not like now. Back then, your mama come up there and talk to your coach wasn't cool. That made you like a buster. So I ended up ditching school, and my mama took off work and came up there and had that meeting with Coach Tiny and Coach West, but I wasn't there. So basically I forfeited the meeting. And I remember mama came home so mad at me because I didn't go to the meeting, and basically, wasted her time. She a single parent working, and I was just too chicken shit to just sit in that meeting and have my friends tease me for a day. Telling your mama got you back on the team, and would have, stayed at the Shaw for the rest of my career. So. And that's another thing about not having a daddy, because if I'd have had a daddy, he'd have came in there and whooped my ass, or he'd have made sure I was at that meeting. So I'm really high on this, I'm really high on this father thing and being integral in young men's development. So that's how I ended up, my Crenshaw experience ended. I ended up playing baseball, my JV baseball my 10th grade year. And then 11th grade, I came back athletic enough to make the JV team. I stopped really going to school, but my grades were okay to play baseball again. So I was kind of on the baseball team, but I was over the Crenshaw experience. So that's when I got myself kicked out so that I can go to Manual and play with my boys. And so that's where I ended up at Manual. I ended up at Manual my senior year, sat on the bench, but I got to say I played varsity basketball. And when I tell this story to kids nowadays, they look at me like I'm sorry as shit. But I have to remind them that Crenshaw and Manual were the two best fucking high schools in LA at the time. So,
I went to both. I know, like I said,
I know, and you end up going to both. I know that, So I was
literally a year after you went to Crenshaw. I went to Crenshaw.
Yeah. Because you was weren't you and Bean freshmen the same year?
Yeah.
So that's when I met you, because I checked back into Crenshaw after my senior year to graduate my high school class with 94. And I remember I was Bean's Coach West's TA E class, and Bean was on that class. But I remember you because you were hella young back then, and then you went to Manual the following year and you played with Reggie and Brew and them.
Yeah. When me and Reggie Morris went.
I think Brew was in those, bro.
Yeah, no, he didn't play. He didn't play. Mm-hmm. We wasn't. My sophomore year at Manual, we was rated number 1 in the city preseason, and then like half the team was ineligible.
Brew, Thomas.
Yeah, all the dudes that was coming up from the JV team that was undefeated, they were all ineligible.
Spank.
Thomas.
So what I remember about you when you went to Manual was, remember they had that on that Sunday paper. You had that suitcase that had the shawl. That's one of the dopest. That's one of the dopest covers ever. I never forget that, bro.
Yeah, I still have the picture.
You still got it?
Yeah, I still got the picture. Wait,
Yeah.
let me see. Let me see if I got it, man. Hold on. Sorry for the listening audience, but like if you see this on YouTube, here is the pic.
Yeah. Yeah, that is hard. That was whoever. I don't know who shot that. Whoever shot that was dope. That was dope.
Yeah, they had that. They had that. They had that. We was. I had to practice, and they was like. At first, they was like, they wanted me to have a Crenshaw jersey. It had a Crenshaw jersey, and a Manuel Orange. Obviously, I had my Manuel jersey on, but they wanted me to be throwing a Crenshaw jersey in the trash. I was like, man, I ain't gonna do that. You crazy?
What?
Nah, man, I ain't doing that. So they just like put a suitcase, you know what I'm saying? So I was basically like a suitcase, you know what I'm saying? And like I was, traveling to Manual.
That was hard.
Yeah. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? So you finish up at Manual. Did you think about going to college? What was your what was that like?
So finished with Manual. Like I said, I sat on the bench the whole year, so I didn't really have any options. We're trying to go down to San Diego with Keith Davis, your point guard at Crenshaw. San Diego Mesa, and my mom. We went down there for a visit. Me and my boy Drew, and we were going. They ended up going, but my mom forced me to go. So I was being a buster and just stopped going. Just didn't do nothing for like a year. Just played a lot of basketball. Ended up checking it, not a year for. Ended up checking in Trade Tech that spring of '95, and then I didn't want to go to Trade Tech, and then I ended up checking into West LA the fall of '95. Coach wanted me to red shirt, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like by then I was about 6'1", 6'2", going on with the height I am now, probably 6'3". I had to bounce by then. I was pretty good, definitely better than red shirt at West LA. So, but that was a blessing in disguise. So then I end up not going to school spring of '96, and we just practicing with Santa Monica with my boy Darwin Carter and Alex Sarkamo, and
I know Darwin.
Marvin Menzie was the coach back then. So yeah, man, your teammate,
my teammate.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time together that summer, but Thurman Watson, who went to Manual, was alumni. He lived down the street. He was coaching, about to start coaching the Southwest with Reggie Morris. Yeah, just got the job, and I was just like, I ain't going to Santa Monica. I'm gonna go to Southwest. So I ended up going to Southwest fall of '96.
Okay.
And that's where I was for 2 years. That's when summer of '96 was the year I played for the Drew for the first time. Then I ended up going to Southwest and staying there for 2 years. I did okay at Southwest. All conference. I ended up being all season track. I ended up finding that passion for. I ran track. I jumped on the track team for 1 month and was like all state. So I definitely missed my blessing on that one. But I really was a bad. Literally 1 month in a day, and made all state.
It was all state. Yeah. You might have missed your blessing on that one.
Definitely missed my blessing. But the athleticism didn't come until my senior year. I didn't know I had it in me. If I knew I had it in me as a sophomore in 10th grade, I might have pursued it. But the track coach was like, "Come on, man, just come do it." First of all, the football coach tried to get me to come play football, and I was like, "Yeah, right." I had been found the love of that, and then should have definitely done that too, though. But did the track thing, just something to do, stay out of trouble. But I really wasn't a good student. So when it was all said and done, anybody that was interested in me, my grades was horrible. So
I got
there
you.
it is. Junior college career is over. Started floated around, and I said I want to go back to school, but I didn't really want to take the necessary steps. Got in trouble doing some not really illegal stuff. Did some petty stuff, but almost got some real trouble behind it. And then after that, I was like, lost my freedom for a few weeks and had to caught a felony. So I was like, oh hell no, I'm going back to school. So I had to take one more class got that class out the way, and then I ended up walking on the couch to LA. Invited walk on, they just didn't have no money for me. I let them know I was definitely should have got a scholarship to play for them. And then
Right.
and wasn't staying on campus, didn't have no whip at the time. So I was just hitching rides, catching a bus to school, getting home hella late, getting up hella early. And no real excuses. I just wasn't a good student. That's just what it was. And I really tried, but I ended up getting ineligible after the first season. I mean, after the first half of the season. I wasn't playing much, but everybody knew I should have been playing. Coach just was tripping. And that was it. So 2001, it was over. College, I had tried it. Took long enough to get there, but so that was that. And just kept playing basketball. And then the following year, Slamball came around.
So basically, like you went through all your trials and tribulations of college, right? You went through all the trials and tribulations of college and high school as well, you know, in a way. To finally get that breakthrough and that success with the Slamball thing. Would you say when you got that call for it, we think that was like the greatest triumph at your young, you know, young career?
Oh, for sure. I mean, and you know, it definitely gave me an opportunity to be who I always wanted to be as a basketball player. Like, you know, even though, like I said, I did cool in junior college, and even though I didn't play a lot when I went to Castle Lake, everybody on the basketball team knew what it was. But this was when I finally decided to. But the crazy part is, Dino Smiley and Rod Smith had to convince me to do it because I wasn't sure I wanted to try it. Then when I did decide to try it, I didn't even get drafted. So here we go again. Same middle school and high school. And like what I can cuss. I'm like, what the fuck? Like how I'm not good enough to get drafted. So then I had to become a developmental player, which is basically a JV player. And I had to decide if I wanted to do that or if I just wanted to say to hell with it. But they were paying and it was still an opportunity. And I still knew in myself I just couldn't get the trampolines part down. The athleticism and the desire was always there. And literally, I had to be up at 7:20. I had to be up at 7:20 in the morning the next day after the draft. And I remember going home I took my mom and my sister to the draft, like a real draft, get dressed up, all that stuff. I literally went home. I remember I laid on my bed and I cried, like not no big cry, but I dropped a few tears and was like, man, fuck that. And I got my ass up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to that practice. And the very next day, I was that dude. Like, I had to still learn a few things, but you could tell by that practice that I was one of the better guys in the league. And after an unfortunate accident, within like maybe a week of being a replacement, or not replacement, being a practice player, I was put on a permanent team, and then the rest is history from there. For the first season, for sure.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I used to. I knew you. I knew Beeve, the big homie Beeve. You know what I'm saying? I remember he played too.
Tank.
Yeah.
Tank.
And Tank played too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know, when I see highlights on YouTube, I see highlights of you. I see highlights of Beeve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even my boy, who I played overseas with, Sam Jones, played for 1 year.
Oh yeah. When you said Amsterdam, I was gonna tell you my boys. I got a boy that lives out there that learned Dutch. Yeah, Sam that's like my boy to this day.
Yeah, man, Sam was my boy. You know, we played on each other my first year of playing overseas. You know what I'm saying? And like he was my teammate, and then we played against each other the next like 2-3 years. You know, I went to another team and we just kept playing against each other. But yeah, he was my first American teammate. That was real cool.
Yeah, you know? Sam at Colorado State right now.
Yeah, he's doing his thing in Colorado. Has his Dutch wife and family, so he's doing his thing.
The whole thing,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you're listening to this right now, you stop Hollywooding me, Sam. Stop Hollywooding me. You always be busy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know. But nah, man. I'm okay. So you get into the Slamball thing, which is something innovative. I had never seen anything like it. How many years did you play in it?
So we did 2 straight, and then it was off so we did 2002, 2003, and then we were off for a year, and then we went to Italy in 2005 for a showcase, but it ended up being the tramps weren't right. So half of us just didn't do anything, and the other half is did dunk contest for 2 days. So I basically went to Italy for 2 weeks to do nothing but eat pizza and try to talk to girls and have my shirt off. It was like a fitness festival. It was the dopest shit ever, though. And then we didn't do anything again. Then we did like a tour for All-Star Weekend in 07. And then we had a full-on season again in 08. And then that was that. And then I went to China with it in 2012. And then they won 13. And then it was over. So basically just 2008 was a full season. Yeah, 2008 full season. So 3 full seasons and then like some tours and some little appearances from here and there.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, like I said, you was getting money for it. So after you do the Slamball thing for so many years, what's next for you?
So I mean, during the Slamball thing, the first 2 years was all Slamball. 2002 and 2003 was all Slamball. After that, it was just up in the air. So in 2003, after my teammate Lee Demon Jr. was murdered, my former college teammate at Southwest was murdered. At the funeral, Reggie Morris Jr. asked me if I wanted to help him coach it. Because Reggie's my teammate at Southwest. So Reggie asked me, did I want to help him coach at Lusinger? And he was like, man, I got a good team, and I got this kid that's going to go to the NBA. And I was like, what? That don't happen for us. Like, you hear about guys from high school to the NBA, that's in a different state, or guys of different pedigrees. Well, at least for me, I was the regular dude that's on the bench that could jump a little bit. How you asking me to help you with some guy that's really going to the NBA? That just didn't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So I said, well, if Slamball don't come back, I'll in 2004, I'll come help you coach. So fast forward to the end of 2003, the summer of 2003, it was kind of obvious that Slamball wasn't going to be back in 2004. And my best friend at the time, her nephew and his best friend were transferring from Fairfax to Lusinger, or attempting to either Lusinger or Inglewood. And Reggie asked me to help talk to the grandparents and his grandmother, his father, and my best friend to get the boys to come to Lusinger. So I did that. We had a little family meeting, a little recruiting thing. And when I did that, the grandmother pulled me to the side and said they can come to Lusinger if you go there and coach. So that was like, I was already on the fence about going to coach anyway, but that just made me know for sure that I was going to go to coach at Lusinger. So from 2003 to 2010, I was coaching at Lusinger, modeling, doing odd jobs. I was working at Expo, you know what I'm saying? But it was basically just been playing basketball with Drew and just being around the city. So 2003 was when I first walked on the Lusinger campus.
Okay. All right. So that's when you became a coach in 2003. Obviously, from 2003 to 2010, you were coaching, and the person you're talking about, for the people that don't know, is this kid. You might know him. His name is Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? NBA Hall of Famer for the Los Angeles Lakers currently. But yeah, I remember hearing about him back in Lusinger, with the fact that I found out that you and Reggie was coaching them, and they was
let me tell you what the first person I was talking about was Darrell. That's who Reggie asked me to come. That's who Reggie asked me to come coach. Yeah, that's who Reggie asked me to come coach, and I was like, out of high school, yeah, right.
Yeah, he went pro out of high school and had he played like 12 years or something?
Yeah, 11, 12, yeah. 11 strong ones for sure.
So. Yeah, so like I said, I give you much props, much props. I mean, the fact that y'all had 2 NBA guys in a span of like 6 years, right? Or whatever it was.
In fact, we had 3. He was going to the NBA too, but he passed away in 2004. So
yeah.
The fact that we had 3 in 5 years and Lusinger, and only people that from LA or that area would understand how that's improbable that was at losing her. It's crazy. And then to have Darrell's little brother in the wings, he was there the whole time, and then have him get drafted in the NBA is crazy. So in my 7 years at losing, we had 3 NBA players, which is I don't know too many people that can say they did that.
Look, I would say this, bro, like, especially coming from LA, the schools that have probably the most, obviously Crenshaw has a lot from the old school, and then modern day, because modern day recruits,
Yeah. Well,
players.
Crenshaw recruits too.
Yeah.
Crenshaw recruits too.
City kids, just a city.
I say, well, I don't know. You wasn't no city kid. You found your way up to Crenshaw. So
I was a city. I was supposed to go to Manual. I lived on 50th and Hoover.
See, I always thought you lived in IE because you went to AB Moore, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to AB Miller like my junior year when my mom and pops divorced. But I'm from LA. I went to the Boys and Girls Club and all that. You know what I'm saying? Challenge Boys and Girls Club on 50 for Fig. But what happened was, like 9th grade year, I went to I was gonna go to Artesia, but it was just too far out the way. So I ended up going to Crenshaw.
Okay.
And then obviously, Crenshaw was like the best school in the state at the time. So like, when they had Chris, Tremaine, Tank, Reggie McFerrin, Ronnie Arch, got rest his soul, Leon, Tyson. Yeah, that school was stupid at talent. And the funny thing is about your story of 300 dudes, that's how it was my freshman year. Like for the tryout, like, obviously the bleachers, he pulled out the bleachers. I'm like, why?
Yeah, the one side, right. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was the bleachers was packed. The pack to the brim on one side where the Crenshaw dudes trying to try out for Crenshaw. The other side of the bleachers was college scouts from everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Like tryouts.
They're watching tryouts, watching us play pickup basketball at Crenshaw. They saw it was because it was looking at Chris, it was looking at Tremaine, it was looking at Tank, it was looking at Reggie McFerrin. I mean, I don't mean just like I mean the head coaches. Like Tremaine was talking to Lute Olson, and he was like, "Hey, Travis, how you doing?" I was like, "Dude, you're Lute Olson, right?"
No,
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, like Lute Olson, Rick Pitino, Krzyzewski, all these dudes, Jim Hare, all these dudes are watching us play pickup. I was like, man, dude, it's crazy.
If it was a camera back then, or if we knew how to monetize stuff, are you crazy? Like that's one thing I've been trying to tell people too. Like I didn't make the team, and I was decent. Like back in the day, it was dudes that didn't play that was could hoop. Like, can you imagine? Because 300 dudes, that means 75 of them still gonna stay on campus. The rest of them ain't transferring, but most of the guys stayed and was like asked out. Like, damn, I just ain't gonna make it, but I can play basketball. That's why I kind of went to Manual, because I was like, I cannot just go all through high school and love playing basketball and not put on a varsity jersey. And another thing I didn't put, so my junior year, when all that stuff happened with me and Tiny, I wouldn't have played varsity, but I probably got moved up. Maybe we got moved up just because of who I was and how hard I worked to varsity. But even if I didn't, varsity was the number one team in the country at the time. So I tell people all the time, I was on campus or on a team with guys that was the number one team in the country. And Coach West got mad at Chris over that soda in Texas and sat him and lost the game, and they never could get number one again. But they didn't lose in California for 2 years.
Yeah, they didn't lose
my junior
for 2
year.
years.
I don't think Crenshaw lost a game in California.
They didn't.
So,
they didn't, because my freshman year, they were 31 or 30. They were 32-2. Both losses was in South Carolina.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, both losses.
Only lost out of state.
Yeah. So, but nah, man. So yeah, I remember that. So you coached from 2004 to 2010.
2003. 2003 my first
2003 to 2010. Sorry about that. Now, you're still in obviously good shape to go back to the Slamball for a couple of years. What made you go back?
Just because I loved it. I mean, it's the best time I ever had, and I also understood the opportunity for it. So, like, how guys like yourself played overseas and did that, like, I definitely wanted to do that, but I don't know how I would have stuck in, I could probably went to somewhere in Mexico or somewhere and played, but like Europe
Mm-hmm.
and all that, you know, I don't think being a 6'3" power forward would have got me too far back then. You know what I'm saying? But so Slamball was my opportunity to be that guy. Like I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be a sports figure. Pretty much. So Slamball was just that thing. It was like, it was people hated it, people loved it, but people talked about it. It's a cult classic. It's always going to be a trivia question. You know, hopefully it falls and everything works out and it does come back. It's supposed to be coming back just in 2023 summer. So, but yeah, I just, and it was an opportunity. I didn't know if Slamball was going to be around for 1 year or was going to be around for 10 years. And if it had been around for 10 straight years, that'd have been a pretty good check. You know what I mean? So I'm not a fool and I was good at it. You know what I mean? My first year was my best year, but I was really good at it and I had a place there. You know what I'm saying? I could have probably tried to make the money somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? But I got to be home. I got to be on TV. I got to have people recognize me. It was just, it was a no-brainer for me. I'd have played that sport too. I couldn't play it no more. You know what I mean?
Nah, I got you. So after 2012, when you finished Slamball, what'd you do?
So the whole time in 2012, that's when Keon and myself created Air West. So we had that going for us. It's just been the same. It's been basically the same hustle since 2003. A little bit of modeling here, odd jobs here. Yeah, I had my steady gig with the city. I had every summer I would spend a couple of weeks in Santa Barbara with Michael Jordan. So it's just been the same, hustling 2009. I got to work with Kobe and his camp and, so it's just been the same hustle. Like, so there's not been one time when I haven't been coaching or, trying to find a way to buy me a house and a few cars.
I got you on that, Chris. Don't we all want to live that dream? You know what I'm saying? We all
and that's what basketball seems to be doing for other people. I'm just waiting for it to do it for me.
Nah, I got you. So, like I said, you have a real diverse profile, honestly. You know what I'm saying, Chris, man? Because like I said, you do modeling, you hooped at Slamball, you know what I'm saying? You've been on shows and stuff like that. So for me, like I said, and the fact that you work, other stuff and you coached. So I think that you have a great, vast knowledge of the game. And your story, man, honestly, man, it's one of triumph, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Because your story, you could tell a kid look, I didn't play really at all that much in high school, but I actually got a chance to do something not too many people do, which was go to college, do the Slamball thing, do all these other things that I've done, and over the course of my life, man. So like I said, your story is a blessing, man. Definitely kids need to know it, you know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate that. And it's been all over the place. It's been all over the place. I've definitely been blessed. I've definitely had some serious setbacks. I'm definitely here for the kids. I'm definitely writing stories now so people can understand that, you don't have to make it to the NBA to live the NBA life.
Yes, agree with that.
I'm extremely blessed because so it's this quote I've been saying, and I got it from Kendrick, and I don't know if I got it from Kendrick. I hate that I'm butchering where I got it from, but he says, I'm not supposed to be here, but I don't mean dead or in jail. So I don't necessarily think I'm not supposed to be alive or free, but I wasn't supposed to be in a position that I am to this day where I have hung out with Michael Jordan. I do know Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan does know me. Kobe Bryant did know me. You know what I'm saying? I did coach Russell Westbrook. I do have tons of resources throughout the city. I have, I was teasing my Drew League team this year when we were sorry. I said, I played in the Drew League when we had to actually pay the piece up to pay the referee. You know what I mean? Where it was $5 a game, and you were playing with dudes that were just getting off work, and it was just I had to tell people girls thought I was cheating on them. And I was like, no, I'm about to go play the Drew League. Like, you got to go play at somebody's what? Like, and no one knew about that. So to be able to sit here, I mean, to be able to sit here in this position right now, and my birthday's in a couple of days, and I'm into a real reflective type of week for me. So I'm proud of myself, and I know it just, if I'd have told myself when I got cut in '91 that I'd be where I am today, I wouldn't believe it. So I tell you all the time, I'm not talking to the 1% of people that make it to play basketball for me. I'm talking to 99% of kids that are going to have to find something to do with their life. And there's many opportunities in basketball where you can still be fly and wear fresh shoes and have the best seat in the gym. So
No,
I appreciate you saying that.
No problem, bro. Like, it's serious. Like, like I said, like when I was overseas or whatever, when I would get back, they were talking about this thing, like I said, what you were doing. And so like I was like, man, that's my boy Chris. I see him doing this thing. And like I said, I was proud of you then. I never got a chance to tell you, but I'm definitely proud of you now to see what you're doing, to see how you're hustling, like you said, to keep, like I said, because every story for every kid doesn't have to end in like, well, he didn't make it to NBA, so he didn't make it, Like
Right.
It could be people like yourself
right.
that did what you did, people like myself who did the overseas route. So like, yeah, definitely, like I said, definitely a blessing, man. All right. Well, like I said, like I have just a couple more questions for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get back to your modeling career.
Man, I ain't got no check modeling for a minute.
So, based on your experience, man, like what happened to you in your career, what would be the best advice that you would give the next generation of Chris's, Chris Young?
As far as on the court or just in life, I mean, it pretty much bleeds in together.
Yeah, it gets together. It's like all comes together.
I always tell the kids when they come to my camps, one of my breaks, to be a good teammate. And for me, being a good teammate means just being a good co-worker, being a good friend. You know what I mean? Just it's gonna be ups and downs. You're gonna have to it shouldn't be easy. You got to stay the course. But at the end of the day, you got to be a solid person. And I also tell people that all the time. Like, I don't believe if I was a buster, if I was a shiesty dude, that I would be in a position to this day. Whether I was 6'10" and could jump out the gym or not. Like, being a good person and being a solid dude can take you a long way, especially when you're not the most talented person in the room or the tallest person or the best looking person. Your character can really do things for you. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wasn't the best ball player back in the day or this and that, but the fact that I was a good dude and dudes wanted to be around me, so that when I started getting a little taller, when I did start getting athletic, I was able to play and hang around dudes like Darrell, who would put me in position to play pickup ball with D Wade and Dame Lillard and all these dudes that my talent wouldn't have got me in them doors. It was more so my character with my talent when it caught up. So my long-winded, but what I would tell kids now is just be a good kid, be a good player, be a good teammate, be a good student, be a good daughter, be a good son. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't care how good you are or how talented you think you are. You're one bad injury away from never playing a game again. And then if you've been an asshole or a jerk the whole time, who's going to want to deal with you then? You know what I mean? So put your head down the best you can, because social media is tough. It's hard not to be great or tough or the best looking person right away. You got to kind of wait for some of these things in life, so you have to be patient. So it's a lot of things these kids can get tripped up on, and I don't know if I can get it all out there in the next 30 seconds, but being a good kid and being a good person and being a good teammate and being a good player and being coachable, what I'm saying? Staying humble. I always tell my kids too, like, stay, my guys that went overseas, I tell them, I said, stay healthy and humble. You know what I'm saying? Those are two things you those are really crucial to development and longevity. So, um, you know, you stay away from the BS. You might not be the best kid right now. You might not be ranked right now. Just keep plugging away. And if you are ranked right now and you are the best kid, then keep keeping them other kids away from you by working hard. So
No, definitely. Both
yeah.
sides of the mountain, it's always
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
One, you climbing up the mountain, or two, you trying to keep everybody from reaching the top like you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Stay motivated. Like one
Yeah,
kid was
so
the other day was like, his father was like, my daddy said being ranked don't mean nothing. I said, the hell if it don't. It do mean something. It means you ranked and you want to stay ranked and get higher. It means you have somewhere to something to achieve to get to. So it's all perspective and how you look at things. So you're right. Like I'm like, I don't know who you are. You got to keep working. And if you feel like you're being slighted, you just got to work a little harder. So
yep, I agree with you on
yeah.
that. All right. Well, the last question I have for you is that, at one point of all of our lives or careers as athletes, former athletes, we all go through, low times. And my question for you is, how did you get out of that low point in your life? Did you have help? Did you do it yourself? Did you meditate? Did you use family, friends? How'd you get out of that low point?
Well, I didn't meditate. I tell you that much. I think everything else played a part. I had help. I had family. Um, shit, you know, like I don't went through everything, all the emotions. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't easy. It still isn't easy. Like I tell people all the time, I'm still trying to get somewhere with this. You know what I'm saying? I got some cool perks and I've had some cool stories, but this thing is still a work in progress, and I believe that the best yet to come. So, um, how I work through things is I call myself a constructive complainer. I'll bitch and moan all day long, but I'll get up and go work out. I'll get up and go work in camp, or I'll go do something for free or something where I should probably get paid more, but I know it's good for the, you know, for the opportunity. So I really don't kind of with my life, I really don't have a structure like I probably should, and that probably has hindered me in some way. But I just get up and do the work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you got to do, especially now. Like there's been times when I could have done better, especially in school and growing up. But now, if I got to get up and do it, I just go do it. I might not be smiling, and I might not be the happiest person, but I'm gonna get the job done. And that's how I got through it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy. It's stressful. It has been stressful. It can be stressful, but for me, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm just going to do my best, and hopefully that propels me to the next opportunity, and then I'll look up and I'll have maybe multiple homes and multiple. So you just got to do the work.
No, I got you. Now, the question that everybody asked me, when they found out I was interviewing you, two things. Now, these are the bonus questions.
From two people.
Yeah. How did
Right.
you get into the Beyonce video, Destiny's Child video? And how did you get to work at Michael Jordan's camp?
Okay. So, funny. So, Destiny Child. So back in the day, I was dating this in the late '90s. I was dating this young lady, and she was in a singing group, and she was performing at like a Watts festival, like right outside Kingsville, which is funny. So me and my boys went up there, white tees, and this guy came up to him and was like, "Are y'all in a singing group?" And it was corny as shit, but like no, the dude was like, "Oh, you guys are handsome guys." He was like, "Yeah, handsome guys. What these guys ever thought about modeling?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have." I was kind of transitioning to kind of wanting to get into model. Shout out to my boy John Rich, who put me under that. Long story short, his name is Frank Gatson. Me and him became buddies. He was, helping me out with things. He put me in what did I do? He put me in Tyrese video, put me in an Usher video. And then one of my buddies was Beyonce. Beyonce had went on tour with the Lady Verizon tour with Alicia Keys and Missy Elliott. And one of the guys that was modeling in the tour, he couldn't make it a show. And they were just guys like Roman soldiers carrying Beyonce on like the little pedestal to the stage. So I got to fill in for, I got to fill in for the Oakland show and ride with them from Anaheim to Oakland and Oakland back to LA. And so I got to know everybody back then. I remember when I did that, long-winded, when I did that, Beyonce looked at me like, is he gonna be strong enough to carry me? Because I'm still thin, but I had, ripped or whatever. So that was the first time that was the second time I ever met her. I had already met her before through Frank, like in passing at like a Grammy thing, but that was the first time I had worked for her. And she kind of looked like, So we did a little prayer. So long story short, I had my hair braided, and maybe like a week or two later, not a month or so later, Frank called me and said, Destiny Child is doing 2 videos this week. Meet me downtown. I want the girls to see you to see if you could be in the second video. So I went up there and they were doing Lose My Breath video. Frank grabs me in no, I had my hair out in the soldier when I did the tour with him. So when I went to the Lose My Breath video, which was downtown, he was like, as soon as I got there, he pulled me over to the girls, and I guess Michelle and Kelly weren't really paying attention. And I already worked with Beyonce before, so he was like, Beyonce, this is Chris. She's like, what's up? He's like, he worked with us a couple weeks ago or whatever on the Verizon tour joint. He was like, I want him to be in the video tomorrow. And she was like, she looked at me, looked me up and down, was like, all right, cool, just braid your hair. And I was like, damn, because I thought the afro was my look. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna braid my hair. So I went home, called my sister. I think either my sister did or my sister's best friend, like 12 o'clock at night, because I ended up staying around for the Lose My Breath video. You just don't see me in it. So I was actually in that video as well. Got my hair braided, call time was like the next day or the following day. So did what she asked. I got my hair braided, and then I went to the video shoot, and what happened there. So when I got the video shoot, so do you want to know what happened when I was there, or you just want to know how I got there? Because that's how I got there. Beyonce saw me at the Lose My Breath video, and she was like, cool, just make sure you braid your hair. And if you watch the video, clearly I didn't have my hair braided, and that's a whole nother story too.
Well, no, like I said, the fact
that I know it's like tough, but it's like, yeah.
Well, no, I just think about that whole video, bro. Like, you was in it right next to Ice Cube, right? I'm like, dang, he got to meet Ice Cube, Destiny's Child, Lil Wayne, T.I. I don't know if maybe you didn't meet all of them, but like,
it was so it's a few funny stories that. So when I got there, I gotta tell you the whole story. I'm gonna tell you. So when I got there, they did so I'm thinking it was gonna be like a soldier video, like we're gonna be in army suits. I didn't know what the hell it was gonna be. I'm thinking army suits and girls. Get to the video shoot, it ain't nothing but dudes, and they were like putting us in what category they thought we should be in. So we had us all line up, and the girls came around, and they were like, "You go Midwest, or you go to the West, you go to the East, you go to South." So when they got to me, they told me to be on the East. And it's still Tupac and Biggie, but I don't want to be on TV representing the East Coast. I'm for real about that. So I tell Frank, and Frank was like, well, that's your fault. You shouldn't have braided your hair. So I'm like, oh my God, you got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah. I did what Beyonce said, and now I'm going to be in his videos in the background acting like an East Coast dude. So then they broke us up to South, East, and West. They had a rehearsal where we had to try to get at the girls, and we were trying to match them. And in the East Coast part, I was, it was East Coast dudes there clearly. So they doing it. And I'm sitting up here trying to mimic like East Coast guy. And I remember like either Kelly or Michelle was like, you're not feeling this. And I was like, no. They're like, so what would you do if you saw a girl, first they said, where you from? I said, I'm from LA. I'm saying that with pride. And they're like, so what would you do if you saw a chick you wanted to holler at? And we were near a car. And I just leaned back on the car and like grabbed her elbow and was like, what's up? And they're like, oh, you from LA? You from LA? They started laughing. Oh, you from LA? Just go visit the LA people and take your braids out. I said, no. I said, no, they said, you're going to be the LA guy. So then right after then I went to Frank. I said, basically bragging like, I got in there with my braids. He was like, no, take your ass upstairs and get your braids taken out. And I was like, man. He was like, trust me. And I was like, okay, well, Frank said, trust me. I just trust him. So I got my hair taken out. My afro was hella big. We get down to it was our time to shoot the scene. It was a lowrider right there. I was like, man, I'm gonna sit in the lowrider on the West Coast. It's gonna be cracking. Everybody like, they're gonna see me. Frank was like, man, no, you're not. Sit right here and chill out. And I was like, man, it was a motorcycle scene, or I wanted to sit in the lowrider. He was like, the motorcycle scene was already for somebody else, but you can stand right here. So I was like, here we go. I'm the JV guy now. I'm hot. Why I can't get the main scene? You know what I mean? Long story short, that was low key the best spot to be in. Cube ended up being up there. So it was basically just me and Cube at one point just throwing up the W. They got my foot on the Crenshaw license plate while I'm sitting on the 6'4". You know what I mean? It was just to me now it's just super dope, you know, especially with not especially with, like, it's a good thing, but you know, with Nipsey passing and Crenshaw being such a world name now, to have me in that video with LA icon representing Crenshaw, you know, I just think that's probably like the dopest part about that video, you know, 17 years later.
No.
Other quick note about that, I was told, I didn't really talk to Ice Cube because that's just not really how you're not really supposed to do that. But I did try to tell him that my nickname was the Ghetto Bird, and he didn't even buzz, or he didn't even acknowledge me. And to this day, Ice Cube don't even know my nickname is the Ghetto Bird, and I got it. So when I ever do get a chance to talk to Ice Cube, I'm like, dude, you stunned me when I was trying to tell you I was rocking the name. This is 04, and here it is 2022, and I'm still, you know, considered, well, that is still I'm still the Ghetto Bird. So I got to tell him that story one day. So that's how that happened. And that was in 04. That was a few weeks after Kelsey had died. So it was like a really dark time for me. And then and my boy, now I'm going to the transition to the Michael Jordan camp. My coach on my Battlegrounds team at Nike, Battlegrounds at Venice Beach, had told his best friend, he asked his best friend if I could coach at Michael Jordan camp in 04. But back then it was really hard to get into Jordan camp, and I didn't know to do like that back then. Now he's one of my brothers, but back then I didn't really know like that. So in 05, he finally let me. So 05, I just came home from Italy. Came home from Slamball. We went to Italy. Got the call that I was going to be able to coach Michael Jordan camp, and from there, you know, I coached it until 2016. So yeah, my boy's name is Mark Ravelin. His father is George Ravelin. His father helped create the camp with Michael. So they were like, you know, the heads of the camp. And he just finally let me come camp coach one year in 05. Like, yeah, Chris can come. Like last minute felt like yeah, Chris can come camp coach. And you know, my first day there, my boys, as soon as I got there, they grabbed me. We got there like around 11 o'clock. Didn't even get a chance to shower, just threw on some clothes, and my boys took me to the club and introduced me to Michael. And
wow.
From there on, you know, we've been cool.
That's cool, man. That's hella cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, two stories that I had to make sure everybody know. Like, yeah, this dude was really how to get in that video, and how he started doing the mic camps, you know what I'm saying? So
I tell you all the time. I don't know how many people from South Central to say they hung out with Michael Jordan and Beyonce.
I can guarantee you not a lot. Now, I'm from South Central. I ain't never hung out with neither one of them. I've seen Beyonce. I done seen Mike. Never hung out with him.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I say I'm super blessed to have had these little nuggets, these little snapshots of my life where it's been like surrounding the times it was war. Things weren't great, but I've had some pretty cool moments. So I appreciate you that highlight some of that stuff too.
Oh, no problem, Chris, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. You know what I'm saying? Show, it means a lot to me, brother. Please let the people know where they can find you at.
Oh, well, you know, that's funny. I see that. I want people to do that. It's hilarious. CYoung_LA on Instagram. I ain't really on Facebook or Twitter, so just hit me on Instagram if you want. You know, we can top it up.
Yeah, like I said, just want to make sure people can find you, see what you're doing, everything you're doing, checking out your stuff,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, you can find myself at Travis W. Reed on Instagram. That's REED, Travis W. And Facebook, Travis W. Reed. I post all my social media stuff on there on both those sites. If you're looking for some merch, I finally got my merch in.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, got an athlete's journey, Travis Reed. So feel free to DM me, or message me on Facebook or DM me for Instagram. Like I said, I got double X's, extra larges, mediums, and small for the kids. So feel free to hit your boy up.
Gotta have them all.
Yeah, gotta have them all. Like, I'm out of the large. Everybody wants the largest, so like I gotta order some more. But I'll have it by the time anybody hit me up. So like I said, this show will be on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and the Believe Network. So like I said, next time I see y'all, peace. Yeah, man. So I gotta ask you. I forgot to ask you one more question. Or about everybody. I know everybody would hit me up like, "Oh man, don't forget to ask him about the Russell Westbrook in high school, man. How was he? Was he the same Russell Westbrook he is now, or did he develop into what he is now? Was he a killer, a dog like he was then? Now?"
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, my iPod. So you can hear me though still, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. In high school, yeah, he was a dog. He was a dog. He played hard. He had an incredible motor. He just was little, so we just never really knew if he was gonna grow to be tall enough to be the guy that he is to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But he played hard. He worked hard. But he just was hella small, and he was hella small. Even as a senior, he was hella small. But he ended up. Hold on, real quick, Travis. I'm trying to get this thing from my phone die on me. So yeah, my bad. So back to the question. So Russell was in high school. He was hella competitive. I don't know why I keep thinking you like film me, so I could have been putting my phone on the charger. Tough kid. Just pretty much the same guy he is now. He just wasn't physically able to do some of the things that he's able to do now. So always knew he would be successful at something in life because he's a smart student. Just didn't know he was going to end up being a top 75 NBA player.
Of all time, right? Yeah.
Of all time. Like, you can't take that away from him. No matter how much you hate this past season, you can't take that away from him.
No, definitely, man. Like I said, I had to add that in because I had to ask, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, like how many coaches get to actually coach a top 75 all-time NBA player? He's probably a college Hall of Famer and an NBA Hall of Famer. So, like I said, he's probably one of the most influential and greatest point guards of this generation. Him, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, James Harden. Like they're in there. And Dame Lillard. Those five are in that box by themselves. And ain't nobody else that's more influential or on that level with them.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel Chris is a little older, but I always tell people Steph Curry is the only person that's had a better career than Russell in his generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Russell's, and not to tell you anything about Steph because Steph is everything, but Russell's an icon as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
yes, he is.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And that's another part of the can't believe that this happened in my life. So. I wasn't a head coach, and Reggie Morris Jr. gets all the credit for that, but I definitely was there and I definitely played an integral part in his development. So to be able to say that, like that's one of my main, like, well, so what are some of the things you're proud of? That's definitely top 5. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy that that I was even near that situation. You know what I mean? So, no, and hopefully my man's plays better this year so everybody can get off his back and
he will. No, like I said, if he went to Lakers or if he were anybody else, they trade him or whatever. I think it's hard to play at home. That's why a lot of players don't do it. A lot of players don't come home. They stay away.
Right. I mean,
Um,
it's there's other factors to that I don't know personally, but that I have my own opinions on. But when I saw he was coming home, I got goosebumps. I thought it was gonna be the best thing smoking. I just didn't. I don't think nobody anticipated how fast that didn't work out.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, I agree with you on that.
I don't know if they can win a championship if they all are healthy anyway, but I do hope they run it back and give him an opportunity to do his thing in front of his people. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, definitely. Look, I think I don't know what they're gonna do, obviously, but we'll see. Like I said, I think whatever happens, he's gonna be successful this year, no matter what. If it's like I said, with the Lakers or with whoever, I think he's gonna be successful this year because we can be honest, like he hasn't had a season like he had last year, probably in his whole career.
Well, I think his first 2 years he wasn't that great. I mean, like at the end of the day, if you take his last name off his jersey, that wasn't a horrible season.
Right.
A lot of guys out of 18-7 or 18-6 and 7, whatever his numbers were, they were close to as low as they were when he was a rookie.
Yeah, like second year. Yeah.
But his scoring average has been dipping the last few years anyway. Just all the other stuff just came and was terrible. Not terrible. I mean, other stuff was just tough. It was just tough to see some of the other stuff.
And the scoring average is going to dip, because he got probably is going to happen this year, the all-time NBA lead scorer on his team.
Right.
And if LeBron stays healthy, and then he got a phenom, a 6'10" phenom. So obviously the 1-2 punch is going to be that. So to me, like I said, that was going to go down regardless. But, like you can't, it's not all, like I said, everybody was trying to blame him. Like it wasn't 100% his fault. The roster just wasn't a good roster.
I mean, I say a few things to this. I just had this talk with one of the Laker coaches. If Russ he didn't miss all those free throws, not free throws, well, free throws too, but he missed layups and open jumpers. He still could have averaged 24, 25 a game with those guys. He just couldn't score that basketball the way he had been able to before. Mm-hmm. And there's no way that when people blame people, like Russ he had to take some credit for that failure for sure. But I'm not gonna never be the person to blame the person that come to work. Yeah. He was at work
every day.
You know what I'm saying? So it takes a lot of courage. And I've even told him this before, but I got a lot of respect for him for the way he handled that, because that was terrible. Like his own city to this day wants him gone. His own city. And I kind of like upset with LA about that, because you know what I'm saying, like you don't really get it. But even though TA's from LA, you know what I'm saying, but Russ is a star, you know what I'm saying. But for them to turn, it wasn't even like it wasn't even All-Star break, and people in LA wanted the boy gone. You know what I mean? So it's like, are you kidding me? So if he stays, I hope he stays and does well, and the team does well. I think if he goes and kills like he can, they're still gonna give him shit because he didn't do it in LA. So he's almost in a no-win situation unless they win a championship.
Only way who wins if they win a championship if he's on the Lakers. And so but like I said, it's all good. And like I said, we gonna keep it. We gonna like I said, he gonna do his thing this year. So.
And he looks. I mean, I haven't seen. I actually talked to him. Anyway, he looks amazing right now. Like he looks like he's really dedicated himself into getting into tip-top shape, which is hard to say because outside of LeBron, better. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting. But I know it was tough. Last year was tough. You would think I was out there playing. I started friends and family last season. So
heck yeah. Like, man, like don't talk about my boy, man. I'll put my hands on you.
They talk about your boy right in front of you. If they don't know you, they really going in on him. So you don't want to just be. I'm going to damn near every Laker game. I can't be up here arguing with everybody because he ain't making no damn play.
Well, nah. Like I said, it's all good. But like I said, thank you for that one. I appreciate that one, Chris, man, for sure.
No, indeed, no problem.